So it was the rage a couple of months ago when he was a free agent,
Yeah,
and Dana White was very public about making the offer and then getting snubbed and really pissed off that Strikeforce got the deal. What's your read on what happened?
What happened was the offer wasn't good enough. And Dana at times is two-faced. 1 minute he says he's the best fighter in the world, and I want him, and then he's the fat guy at the buffet. You need to make up your mind, and because Fedor's the kind of guy, Dana in the conversations. I wasn't in the meeting, but I was, and I'll leave it at that. I wasn't, but I was. In the meeting, Dana says to Fedor over the phone, "Oh, you're the best fighter in the world. We'd love to have you. It'd be great to have you." And Fedor says to him, "Yeah, I hear and I read on the internet what you say about me every day." And then Dana's like, "Oh, I'm just a promoter. I'm trying to sell tickets. Oh, I just want to sell tickets." And Fedor said, "That's what makes you and I different." Fedor is an average guy, and you can't go at him that way. You can't call him a fat guy or he sucks or he's overrated one week and then try to sign him the next. Because he he just wants respect, but he wants you to treat him fairly, as all fighters should be. All fighters deserve to. It takes a lot of guts to get in there in the cage. I'd never do it. I'd get my butt whipped, and I would never do it. That's not my thing. I don't like getting punched in the face, honestly. But if that's your thing, more power to you. You're a hell of a man if you can get in there and do that. And if you enjoy that, and you deserve respect. And, the wealth needs to be shared, and I think the sport is going to come to a point sooner than later, especially with CBS getting into the game, where fighters are going to get more money and more respect. And I think the UFC and Dana White, especially Dana White, is afraid of that because they're going to slowly lose their grip. Their grip on.
They're going to lose grip on market share or their business model.
Market share somewhat, but I think their business model. Because to me, I respect all the fighters in the UFC. They have great fighters, but to me, it's almost a WWE model. They have their own magazine. They run their own TV shows. They don't want to work with anybody else. So they run it like the WWE model. I've seen Vince McMahon's model. I almost went to work for him one time, and I went and I saw, Titan Towers, and I saw how they own their own internet. They own their magazines. They try to control the media. UFC does the same exact thing, man. They set up Brock Lesnar for a title shot after how many MMA fights? 4? Come on. At the end of the day, it's like, did he deserve that title shot? I think there's a lot of heavyweights out there that would say no.
Part of it's marketing, part of it's matchmaking, part of it's selling tickets and selling pay-per-views.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But they should acknowledge that fact, too.
Jerry Millen's with us from M1. So how about his notion that, hey, promotionally, it was ridiculous for you guys to ask to be partners in the promotion? And what were you guys asking for? Were you asking for like 50-50 split on all revenues, anytime Fedor fights? Were there other fighters involved?
It would be, I can't get into the details of the deal, but it would be a co-promotion, a full-on co-promotion, 50% risk and 50% profit.
So kind of like the boxing model.
Right, or 50% loss. Now, if their business model doesn't make sense, probably not, because they have a grasp. But someday, I hope, for the sake of the sport and the sake of the fighters out there that are trying to claw their way up to the top, that business model changes, because the guys deserve it, man. I know a lot of these guys, you do too, I know you do, the guys that work 2 jobs and they go and they train, and they're not going to get a shot at the big time unless Joe Silva or Dana White deem them appropriate to get that shot, which I don't think is completely fair.
All right. You're very composed here. I've heard clips on Pharrell when you're going nuts.
Well,
is that because Pharrell's feeding you?
Scotty's like, Jerry, how do you feel about this guy?
To get you going?
Yeah.
Well, Pharrell's had a little beef with Dana White too. So there's a little venom with Dana, Yeah,
everybody's got beef with Dana. Some people will go public with it. Other people get paid by Dana, so they keep their beef with Dana private, and they tell me what they think about Dana. People that work for him, actually.
All right. Oh, look at you. You have the moles in there.
Oh, there's a lot of moles in the UFC. Believe me, not everybody loves Dana White as much as they publicly say they do.
You came up to me at Strikeforce event, maybe it was like 3 events ago, and I forget what you said. I think you were a little heated because we had Dana White on.
Yeah.
And Dana said he had challenged you to a fight, and he was ready to go.
Well, he challenged me to a fight, but it was by his rules. It would be boxing. I said, I'd fight you. 2 things. First, you got to get the okay from Lorenzo, because everybody knows Lorenzo owns Dana. Because everybody knows Lorenzo bought the UFC, brought Dana, the ex-aerobics instructor, in, and gave him 10%. That's a given. So I said, you got to get Lorenzo's okay. Number 2, I have children to feed. I'm not going to risk my job at M1 for some promotional stunt with Dana that he probably wouldn't show up to. So I said, I have to ask my boss, Vadim. And he, and he threatened to call. Dana called me on the phone. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And he threatened to kill me. And he had Don, his assistant, call me, and he wanted to fly me to Vegas and put me up in a first-class hotel and box me in the UFC gym. Well, I'm not going to go in the snake pit. I'm not stupid. If he wanted to fight me, we could do it MMA. Give me a couple of months to train. You know what? Maybe Dana would kick my ass. That'd be fine. If I could get the opportunity just to punch Dana White in the face once in a cage, he could whip my ass and do whatever. And pay me $50,000 I would give to charity. I'd still do it. Just one shot to punch him in the mouth. But he said he wouldn't fight me MMA because he would kill me in MMA. He would only hurt me in boxing. I think maybe he's afraid of getting choked out. Plus, Dana's getting a little fat. I don't know if you've seen him lately. he's getting a little thick, so I don't know what's going on there.
As I sit here, bottom line is, why are we fighting? That's the funny thing
with
all this, because it does start to reek of boxing in some ways, where you don't ever want to have a situation where it's Arum and King and it ruins the sport for like 15 years.
Honestly, I'm not fighting. The thing is, when I was with Pride, he came at me personally, about my sexual orientation. I have 3 children. Believe me, I'm very secure with my manhood. Calling me a frosty tip, whatever. When he did that blog, come on, man. Let's be honest. It's like, it's stupid. But Dana's Dana, and if he wants to talk about me, that's fine. But calling me on the phone when I'm trying to teach my son how to spell his name. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna have. It's like, dude, call me back and grow up. He called me a half hour before the George St. Pierre BJ Penn fight. And I said, Dana, you know what I love about you? Is that you're thinking about me 30 minutes before one of your biggest fights of the year. That's great, bro, because I'm in your head. And he went nuts. I hope he's listening right now to you guys, 1100. I sent him a text message, say, hey, tune into Cofield. I'm on. I would love Dana to call in right now. But I guarantee you, Dana White will not do a radio show with me, because we did it once, and I'll out-talk him.
Well,
he'll never call in.
We'll see down the road if he wants to do it.
I'd love to do your show with Dana anytime, bro.
We get him on from time to time.
Anytime. Yeah. But I'm not fighting. I'm standing up for myself, number one. Standing up for our fighters and our company, when he can't make up his mind about Fedr. Fedr would love to fight Brock Lesnar. Let's make it happen. I invite Brock Lesnar or Frank Mir to come to Stereosco and train with Fedr. Why not? If you want to fight him and you can't get paid a couple million to do it, but you really want to fight him, come to Stereosco. Frank Mir actually made a comment. He wanted to feel he wants to feel what it felt like to be punched in the face by Fedr, because he feels cheated. He can't fight him. Frank, call me. We'll go to Stereosco, man. You can train with him. That won't happen, but the door's open for that kind of thing.
I don't see it ever happening.
Right, but
Fedor fighting any of their guys.
Come and spar with them.
Well, I'm just saying in general. I think now we want to go back to the term Cold War. I think it's on, and
it's on.
I don't know. Well, if this card does well on CBS, I don't view Scott Coker as a guy who's going to blow it money wise. So no. I think it's going to be 2 different organizations, and they may have a big market share, but your power guys are not going to fight their guys.
Right. I doubt it's going to happen either. But
which sucks for fight fans.
It does suck. But if they scream loud enough, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. That's what I would like to see. I really, truly would like to see Fedor beat Brock Lesnar fight Brock Lesnar, because I get calls from people all the time. Oh, do you think there's no way Brock Lesnar or the Fedor is going to beat Brock Lesnar? I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. I think right now.
I don't know what would happen, but I want to see it.
Right. I do too. I'd love to see Gegard fight Anderson Silva. Come on, let's make these happen. It can happen. We're willing. You just got to, you got to share in it. And, Dana would say, oh, well, why the F would I share in it? Because, why would I give away my guys? Well, if the fight fans want it, and if the UFC really cares what the fight fans want, they'll make it happen.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. You know what? He relented on a lot of the things, I think, in terms of Fedor. He obviously became interested in him because I think a lot of the fight fans screamed for it, so it just didn't get done.
And I'll just tell you this much, the money offer wasn't as much as they claim it was.
$5 million a fight? It was not.
Absolutely.
Was that
not,
the ultimate upside with pay-per-view back end? And so there was a low guarantee and then a lot of bonus?
Low. The money was low. The money was not anywhere near what the rumors are. Believe me on that one.
Yeah. And you got the money. He wound up getting the money from Strikeforce and Showtime and CBS.
We got the promotion, too. The promotion. We got the promotion.
All right.